So we got a lot we have to cover today. Two very important dates to note. One of them happening just this weekend and probably will lead to a whole bunch of big discussion that'll be happening this weekend on the Transformer Slag Saturday Night live stream. But let's jump into it. Nate, during Hasbro Pulse Con a couple of weeks ago, was wearing a Devastator shirt. And Evan even mentioned during that live stream that they were going to talk about Devastator during it, but they were asked to save it for the future. Nate even dropped the number 1027, and that was kind of the whole thing, October 27th on a Sunday. Well, we got an update, and it looks like 1027 is going to be an important day. The Pulse Premium 1027 event, as they call it, which will be a premium event for Hasbro Pulse Premium members, a special virtual event packed with exciting product reveals, content, updates, and more of your favorite brands. Not just Transformers, but a lot of the others. Some of them have already been leaking out from the Ghostbuster side of things. But it says here, Sunday, October 27th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Hasbro Pulse's YouTube channel will have an exclusive show celebrating you and our amazing Hasbro Pulse Premium members. So this is probably where our Devastator is going to be revealed for the first time. Now, the reason why I bring that up especially is because this weekend, which won't be this event, that'll be next week, but this weekend is going to be New York Comic-Con, the second biggest convention in North America. So between October 17th and October 20th will be New York Comic-Con, and New York Comic-Con announced on their Instagram that on October 18th, on the Friday at 5:15 p.m. in room 408, will be the Hasbro Pulse event. And they'll have a whole bunch of big reveals and new stuff, and the one thing that they mentioned for us as Transformer fans is we'll get all the latest Studio Series products. So chances are the Devastator will not be part of that reveal listing. There'll be a whole bunch of other stuff, which we're going to get into in a moment. But Devastator is probably being saved for the Sunday the week after. So stay tuned for that. And again, if you want to know more or less in deeper detail how that Devastator is going to work, because we won't talk about it here today, go check out my segment. I did the Transformer Slag podcast, Transformers Studio Series 86 Devastator Explained segment. Go check that one out and you can get a deeper idea of what's going on. But we will see what happens with that. So what are some of the other stuff we could be expecting from New York Comic-Con in terms of these Studio Series reveals? Well, accompanied with all those Devastator listings that we saw were a whole bunch of other Transformer Studio Series items. And we're going to go over these today in deep detail. We talked about them vaguely a little bit in the past, but you know, it was quite a while. And now we have newer information. We've seen some new tooling since then, so we could go through it all. And we'll go through it by movie in this case, just to make it easier. So with Dark of the Moon toys, what do we got? Well, we had a listing for a Transformers Generation Studio Series Deluxe class, Dark of the Moon Hatchet. This was a item that was in the Target Computer stock photo leak that happened way back in October of 2022. Amazing, it's already been 2 years since that passed. And finally, we know what's happening with that, because that kind of ended up in limbo, and we're like, what's happening with that one? We knew what happened with the Hound. We never figured out what happened with the Hatchet. Well, it's probably going to be showing up here, and we're probably going to be seeing it this weekend. We also have the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe class, Dark of the Moon Q. This is one that is extremely long overdue. At one point, this guy was called Wheeljack, but then the Bumblebee movie kind of put an end to that, and Q and Wheeljack are clearly two separate characters now at this point. And for the longest time, the only way you could get a Q/Wheeljack figure of this version was from the super rare Mech Tech Dark of the Moon Deluxe class figure, which was only sold in Hong Kong and in China. It was part of that very last wave of Dark of the Moon that got canceled for most of, you know, the retail world, except for China and Hong Kong, where those few items that still kind of got produced ended up in the Chinese and Hong Kong market because they still had huge numbers over there. So a loose copy of that guy, because of how rare it was, even a loose copy of that figure was going for as high as $180 in the secondary market. So if you're sitting on a carded or loose Wheeljack, and I use air quotes here, Wheeljack Q from Dark of the Moon Mech Tech, I probably would suggest start selling that off and get your big bucks while you can from the market before that market softens when this better version comes out from Studio Series. So just keep that in mind. Very cool that we'll finally get a nice mass retail opportunity for this character for people who loved Dark of the Moon and for the few that probably liked this weird Einstein-esque kind of character. We also have a Transformers Studio Series Leader Class Age of Extinction we're getting into now. Age of Extinction Optimus Prime. Now, when I first saw this listing, I thought it was, I guess it's the Evasion Optimus Prime, the rusty flat-nosed truck from Age of Extinction. But when I saw that it's Leader Class, what kind of like resonated with me, well, if it's a Leader Class, it probably is his second form in the movie, that much more buffed up, tricked out car with the big sword and everything. So we'll finally get a proper version of that character and that design that really hasn't gotten a good figure up to this point. I mean, Third Party did a half-decent one, so it'll be really cool to see how Hasbro tackles this much more buff, tricked-out Optimus Prime design. Had a very unique robot mode with that huge sword. So the only downer that I could take from this is it's going to be a Leader Class. And at that Leader Class size, there is no way in hell that could ride on top of Studio Series Age of Extinction Grimlock. So I guess the only way to make that happen is you're probably going to have to track down that old Age of Extinction Stomp and Chomp big gimmicky 2-foot Grimlock figure. And then maybe you could work something out with that. Maybe now that's going to have a strong secondary market value after so many years of being in clearance. So check that one out too. We got the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Age of Extinction Widowmaker. This is continuing the concept art series, and we're getting yet again another one with this. So who is Widowmaker? Well, originally during the early scripts and concepts of Age of Extinction, when it was slowly being put together, there was a character called Widowmaker that was the bot that ultimately, through production and everything, and the final product became Stinger. So this was that rival character, whatever the name would have been, that would transform into the Pagani Huayra supercar. Now, this would then create a brand new fembot for the line, so that's pretty cool. We get a new fembot for the movie side of things, which really they're very lacking in a lot of ways. And it really just shows how deep the Transformers Studio Series concept art series could go and all the really wacky and cool designs we could get and pull from. Maybe we'll finally get that Transit figure one day and my Montreal 90s bus Transformer could finally become a reality. Then we go into Bumblebee movie stuff. We got a Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Bumblebee movie, Bumblebee. I don't know what this could be, really. One of two things really come to mind, because the Bumblebee movie debuted alongside with Studio Series when it first started. And as a result, Bumblebee movie got almost everything covered of its core characters right out of the gate, being alongside with Studio Series. And especially Bumblebee himself. His Bumblebee Cybertronian B-127, his Jeep mode, his Volkswagen Beetle, rusted Camaro, clean Camaro, souped up 70s Camaro, bunch of SDCC variants. He was covered every way. So what is missing at that point? I mean, unless they take one of these ones I just mentioned and give them alternate heads. If they got battle masks, give them regular faces. If they got regular faces, give them battle masks. That's one way to get some, mileage out of an old mold. The only other explanation I can think of is they just might do some straight up re-releases of some of these because, let's be real, like I said, these did come out super early when Studio Series first became a product, so maybe it's a way for people to get a second crack at them. That's one way to look at it. Then we have, of course, Rise of the Beast stuff. We got a Transformers Studio Series Leader Class Apelinq. This one I'm super stoked about. Clearly, they're going to take that Leader Class Rise of the Beast Optimus Primal, give it some retooling, give him those Apelinq's arm blades on him in the Beast mode. But what is going to be happening with that robot mode? There's a character that we didn't get to see his robot mode proper. So will he have a brand new head sculpt? Will he have some crazy tooling in the robot mode? How different will it be from the Primal? Maybe he's going to rock a more Transmetal 1 Optimus Primal head sculpt to kind of match his Bakhan Apelinq origins. I don't know. It would be cool. I want to see what it is because despite the fact that he had a short-lived, no pun on short-lived, appearance in the movie, it'd be cool to see how he would be handled as a leader class product. Then we have a Rise of the Beasts Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Double Punch. Army Builder character, no doubt a repaint of the Studio Series Deluxe class Rise of the Beast. Scorponok, which, again, that one was purple. And according to the concept art that we got from the movie, the red one is Sandstorm, the blue one is Double Punch, I guess, and the purple one is Scorponok. So I guess that's how they're going to go with it. So I guess we'll get a blue repaint, maybe? I don't know. We'll see how they tackle that. Then we have some Transformer 1 product, our beloved movie. We are slowly getting our Transformer 1 characters done in Studio Series. We got our Optimus Prime, we got our Megatron, and soon we're going to be getting B-127 Bumblebee and Elita 1 and Sentinel Prime. But now we know we're going to be getting a Starscream in Deluxe class. So that's pretty hype. Starscream's in the cards. He will be a Deluxe class. Obviously, all the Seekers that could be associated with that, and there was plenty of Seekers in that movie. So we'll definitely see how they tackle Starscream for Transformers 1. Then we go into the last category here. We have Gamer Edition. So first we have a Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition Voyager class War for Cybertron Ironhide. This one's a no-brainer. We got the Ratchet already in Voyager class, and those two are always tied together, much like a Seeker Jet, much like a Datsun brother. So you could just use your imagination and figure out how that one's going to work. And speaking of Seeker Jets, we also got Voyager class War for Cybertron Gamer Edition Skywarp and Thundercracker. So, hey, we got the Starscream. So I guess we're going to get Thundercracker and Skywarp. Hopefully they'll come with some different weapons just to mix it up a little bit. Maybe different facial expressions on the robot mode. But there's really not much you could expect different from the Starscream. And it's been done before through the original line back in the Thrilling 30 days and the Generation days through the Deluxe class. And the last thing we're going to be covering is the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe class War for Cybertron Gamer Edition Autobot Soldier. This one, I don't know what it could be. We have images of what he looked like in the game, some of them. So is this a brand new tooling? Is it they're going to do an extensive retool or repaint of maybe the War for Cybertron Barricade or Sideswipe? I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. We shall see with that one. Hard to say. But those are some potential items we might see at New York Comic Con this weekend. So again, stay tuned for that. That'll all be happening again October 18th, Friday, 5:15 p.m. So a very interesting time. We're going to have a late segment, obviously, on the podcast when all that information drops. Go check it out, when time comes. And we'll keep you updated, educated, and informed here on the Transformer Slag podcast. And as always, thank you for listening.